Greetings. Welcome to NASCAR America Debrief on the NBC Motorsports YouTube channel. Nate Ryan here with David Hoots, Dale Jarrett, taking your phone calls and questions and comments on YouTube. You're watching us, again, on the NBC Sports Motorsports YouTube channel. You see that little comment box off to your right. I am monitoring that box for questions and comments, but we're also taking leftover phone calls from NASCAR America Motor Mouths. And we're going to start on the phone lines with Ernie in Long Island. Ernie, welcome to NASCAR America Debrief.
Yes, hello there.
Greetings. How you doing?
Very good, thanks.
What you got for us?
I think that Jimmy Johnson has really slowed down, and I don't think he's going to participate to the end. And I think that Rick Hendrick should think about putting him up in the office with Jeff Gordon and put Matt DiBenedetto in that car, and I think you'll see a lot of success there. Okay,
Ernie, thanks for that phone call. Okay, DJ, Matt DiBenedetto to the number 48 car. I don't know if that would, well, it can't happen next season. Jimmy Johnson has a contract for 2020, but what do you think about that possibility maybe long term? Should he get a shot at a team like that?
Matt DiBenedetto deserves a good shot in a good race car. But let me say this, and make no mistake, Jimmy Johnson goes out on his own terms. When you've won 7 championships, you don't give up your ride. There's nothing wrong with Jimmy Johnson's skills or anything like that. The whole organization has been somewhat of a struggle. But trust me, when they get the car right for Jimmy Johnson, he's going to be just fine, and he goes out when Jimmy Johnson says that he's going to go out. Nobody's replacing him by coming in.
All right.
Doesn't happen.
Let's stay on that topic and bring in Jordan to NASCAR America Debrief. Jordan, another Jimmy Johnson question for us.
Yes, I'm just curious if any of y'all think that he can battle out at Darlington or Indy to get in a playoff spot.
Okay,
or win any of them races.
Right. So Jimmy Johnson, 26 points out. You guys were talking about this just now on NASCAR America Motor Mouths, David, and you said something interesting. You feel like the crew chief change that they made 3 races ago, it's a big ask at this point in the season for him to kind of turn it around.
I think that's a big thing because a lot of it's the chemistry the two will develop. The questions about the cars, they're working on the cars, they're getting better. But I also believe that some people trying, in the earlier question, write Jimmy Johnson off. The man deserves the credit that I don't know that he's totally got during the course of the year. 7 championships. You know, there's only a couple of franchises, and the Boston Celtics would be one of them, that have won something like that. And to do it the way he's done it and under that, if he's good at Indy and he's good at a track that requires smoothness, and I can't think of one any worse or more important in Darlington.
Yeah.
If they get the car remotely close, you'll see what he can do.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of transition, and they've been behind for a while.
Yeah, a good qualifying effort at Darlington can go a long way to getting them some stage points. I think this is a tall order in making things turn around in a 2-race period. You know, you're going to look at the end of 26 races, and he might get out at Indy and say, oh, God, if I could have got 1 or 2 more positions somewhere. But you had 24 others before that, or 25 others even before Indy. And he is really good at Indy. No strategy really to be played at Darlington because you're going to need 4 tires all the time. But Indy, there is that possibility for strategy. And I think you're going to be at 2 tracks to where, as Ryan Newman put it on Saturday night, you're going to have to use both pedals because, you know, even at Indy, right, you're not going to run wide open through those corners. So I think that gives Jimmy a better chance whenever you bring that type of ability in. So, again, tall order, but can he do it? It's possible.
Right.
Yes.
And we both agree, we think it's probably going to take a win at this point. I mean, 26 points out. He's won at Darlington. It's been quite a few years. Of course, Indianapolis, he's got multiple wins there and a little bit more recently. So maybe that's the more likely track, but it feels like at this point he's got to win to make it in, right?
That's the sure way, but the points can add up to help him. And let me say that it's no reflection on the crew chief, what I'm saying. It's just hard to make it jail that quick.
Yeah.
All right, let's stay on the phone lines and go to Gene on NASCAR America Debrief. Gene's in North Carolina. Gene, welcome to the program.
My question to David Hoots specifically, the Xfinity guys are running at Road America this weekend. Why can't the big boys run there and forget that darn Roval thing?
Well, I would have to tell you that you would need to direct the questions to departments at NASCAR on where the event's going. I've never had the pleasure of being at Road America. I've only heard many positive comments about that and the general area. It would be a great venue for them. But with all the things that NASCAR is doing, with the number of tracks they have and the broadcast, it is not easy just to drop one and move something else. There's a lot of dynamics there that we could spend a couple of hours talking about, and I would be talking totally out of school because it would be speculation.
Yeah, it is a great venue there. I've had the pleasure a number of times to go up there, and looking forward to this weekend. But just saying, let's put a cup race there. There's a lot more to it than that. A lot of people have to buy into that, but it would be a great race, in my opinion.
Yeah, I certainly would love to see more road courses, maybe street courses in the Cup Series in the future, Gene. So stay tuned. Maybe we'll see Road America on the Cup schedule. As I mentioned, we are taking comments, questions on YouTube, and we have one on YouTube for David Hoots from a former coworker of yours at NASCAR. Wants to know, why did you stop saying "this one's on me" for competition cautions?
I really don't have a good answer, and just to let them know it was a competition yellow, and that there was nothing. Part of it was to transmit. There was nothing on the racetrack that the spotters could be concerned with. I was talking in my role to the spotters to let them know we're putting the yellow out for a piece of debris or whatever.
Yeah.
And this one's on me meant there was nothing out there. We're just slowing it down for this competition yellow.
Gotcha. Let's go back to the phones. Connie, welcome to NASCAR America Debrief.
Thank you, and hello to everybody. My comment is, we love Matt DiBenedetto, and he has done phenomenal. But what about Jeremy Clements? I don't think he got the recognition that he deserves for the finish he had at Bristol.
Right. And obviously a former winner, DJ at Road America, Jeremy Clements is. So is Connie right? Does he deserve maybe a little more attention going into this race this weekend?
You know, we could sit here and take up the rest of the time and go down the list of deserving drivers. Yes, Matt DiBenedetto is the name and driver that's on everybody's mind right now because of the things that are going on. Jeremy Clements is an outstanding race driver that in different equipment. They do a phenomenal job with what they do as a family-run operation. And that win at Road America was great. He did have a great run, battled hard last Friday night at Bristol and did just a great job in getting another good finish for him. But we could go down the list. Everybody out there they are outstanding drivers. Put in the right situation. The reason that we talk more about Matt DiBenedetto right now is mainly because he has kind of leveraged himself and put himself out there. You know, he left a ride last year and said, I think I can find me something better, that my talents, I have the talents to get this done. And he was willing to take that chance and do that. And so, yes, Jeremy Clements, among others that we could put in that situation, that put in the right car, they would do an outstanding job also.
Yep, definitely. Appreciate that question, Connie. Let's stay on the phones and talk to Justin. Justin, welcome to NASCAR America Debrief.
Hello. First of all, this is really cool to be on here and talking to like Dale Jarrett and David Hoots. So my question is, so Mr. David, is there a specific driver that you've had a relationship with in your career?
I would say that I tried at most times to be arm's length to a lot of drivers. I wanted to keep a professional relationship. I'd have no problem, say, talking to Dale here next to me. Tell me about the racing service. Did we get this cleaned up or did we do that? What do you think about this procedure? But at the same time, trying to keep a professional relationship, it's very easy to let this cross over. I always attempted to officiate by a car number and not the driver to help that relationship. I'm monitoring what the car does. There's a driver in there, and he's making all the reactions, but to try to separate the two to be a good official.
Yeah, and I would have to say that David Hoots and Mike Helton, I'll put Mike in there because y'all work closely together with everything, that as fair of people in their positions that from a competitor side that you'd ever want to be around. Could they be very stern and harsh at times with you, yeah, when it needed to be that. But they were also willing to listen to your concerns about things too, and you appreciated that you could literally walk in at any time and get the answers. Might not have been the answer that you wanted to hear, but you would get the answer that they thought was the right answer at that time.
Well, this is like an ongoing debate and discussion in NASCAR now with what was the driver council, and now it's sort of dissolved. But now there's drivers talking about, hey, there's more open lines of communication that there have been in a long time between drivers and officials. And it's a great question by Justin, because I'm always kind of fascinated by, how would you relate to David Hoots or Mike Helton? I mean, would you guys need to develop some barriers in some ways, because there has to be a professional side and there has to be a personal side?
I don't think you have to develop barriers, but you want to sit there. The other side of it is sometimes perception is reality.
Right.
And I never did wander away from seeing a driver in a restaurant, but I didn't necessarily want to go out to dinner with him, because what happens the next day, if this call happens, happen chance. Well, I just saw him at the restaurant with this guy, and that's not what you're trying to do. You know, one of the big goals of NASCAR's had over the time is to have a level playing field. This was another effort on my part to level that part up. Now, Dale could walk in and say, y'all, you need to change this, or you need to talk about this, or whatever. All ears. And over the years, NASCAR has got great suggestions from competitors, whether it be the mechanical side or the procedural side or whatever, and keep those doors open. But, you know, you had to also keep it in perspective. You are the referee. At the end of the day, you are the referee. You know, you're one of several, but you are the referee.
And I think I appreciated the driver council and what they were trying to accomplish there, but trying to do things as a group in NASCAR from a driver's side of it, I think you're much better off in voicing your own opinions, being able to sit down one-on-one, because I'm sorry, you put 10 race drivers in there, and most of the time you're going to have at least 8 different opinions about how things should go. And so trying to come to a consensus there was always difficult. But there was not one time, I've been kicked out of those doors after a meeting, but not one time was that door slammed in my face to where I couldn't come in and have a discussion.
Right. Good call, Justin. We appreciate that question. Let's stay on the phones, talk to Quentin in Minnesota. Quentin, welcome to NASCAR America Debrief.
Hey guys, local blogger in auto racing all my life. DJ, it's awesome to talk to you. David, you as well. With the news of the XFINITY Series being shortened down to 36 cars, after we've gone from 43 to 40 to 38 down to 36, I'm not going to complain about that, but do you think this is a preemptive to the idea that we'll be going to more short tracks starting in 2021?
All right, that's an interesting question, Quentin. Thanks for throwing it out there. So in the past, short tracks, they used to limit the starting fields to, I think it was around 36 cars when you had 43. So now with NASCAR going to 36 and Xfinity, would it make it easier to take the series to more short tracks after next year?
I think it would help, but I also think their effort, and this is my opinion, is they're wanting to elevate the competition in the same way that if there's a risk versus award to qualifying and other things, you're going to see people elevate their game to get into these races. You're actually making this harder, which is not a bad thing. And instead of bringing the level down, you're actually going to bring it up. So you'll have a quality field versus a quantity of field. And as Dale mentioned earlier, the change in the numbers is helpful for everybody, but it's going to make some people work a little bit harder, and there's going to be some people sweating on Friday afternoons when they're qualifying. And guess who benefits from it? Us, the race fan. So I don't know that I see it as a negative.
I like the idea, and if we do happen to go back to more short tracks, that's a benefit too, in my opinion, especially for the trucks and Xfinity. I think that we could see more of that. The other side, and I mentioned this earlier, that if we keep the purses where they are, no less than what they are, or if it goes up, then that means more people or people get more money. And that only to David's point, that enhances the competition too when people are making more and can spend more money at that to get better.
That's a nice ancillary benefit as everybody tries to improve the team business model. We'll stay on the phones and talk to Marge in Florida. Marge, welcome to NASCAR America Debrief.
I'd like to know why, when a car does not pass inspection, it's still allowed to be in the race.
All right, a popular question that I've heard quite often over the years from Marge. Why does a car that fails pre-race inspection, numerous times? We saw the Xfinity race at Bristol. Tyler Reddick had to start at the back. Why is that car still allowed to win?
Well, let me remind you, everybody, just because he failed inspection, he's going to have to be corrected before he goes out on the racetrack. It puts an extra burden on the team to correct that. They're not going up there with the intentions of being wrong, but when you have the tight tolerances that they have and everything, and one little change can affect it all, I promise you there's not a crew or a team out there that wants to fail and have this delayed their program. But before they go out and race, they are correct to the letter of the law of the rule book.
Yeah, I think that's the point, that NASCAR doesn't say that, okay, you've been here enough and we're getting close to race time, go ahead. You have to be right or you can't start that race. And so, the crew chiefs push things. Yeah, that's their job, is to push it to the limit. And as you point out, the tolerances are so close now. You go through practice and everything, and you go through pre-race inspection, actually pre-practice inspection and getting everything done. By the time that you get on the racetrack and things start moving, especially you get a rough racetrack like Bristol is, and you make changes to the car, then things start getting out of kilter just a little bit. So trying to get yourself, you don't go back through that all the time as far as the total inspection goes. So it may take 2 or 3 times. They're not wanting to go so far in 1 or 2 times that they get on the other side of that, and it might hurt them. So it may seem like it's not fair, especially in a situation where Tyler Reddick came back and won the race. But you have to hand it to him of driving his tail off to get back there and doing the job. Yeah,
appreciate that question. I have another somewhat inspection-related question, David, from YouTube. James wants to know how you feel about the Gen 7 car. I'm sure that was in development as you were leaving NASCAR. Any thoughts on, as people are talking about that coming in 2021 possibly?
I wasn't in a lot of the discussions with it. I think what little bit I've heard about it, I would be exciting for the race fans, because one of the key points that I'd heard from it was that it's going to closer resemble what's on the street. I can't think that helps things. It keeps the identity of the cars with the manufacturers, and that's a key element to the whole program.
Outstanding.
I think that's a huge point in making sure the manufacturers are able to utilize the sport in the way that they have for many years. And I believe I'm right in saying that this could open up possibilities for other manufacturers that aren't right now in the sport to become involved, which would be another good thing for a lot of teams.
Certainly a thrust of not just the Gen 7, but this year's rules intended to lower that horsepower and be more appealing to new manufacturers. We'll go back to the phones for a couple more and talk to AC in North Carolina. AC, welcome to NASCAR America Debrief.
Hey, I want to know, DJ, do you think Justin Allgaier will break that winless streak at Road America?
Austin Cindric, that is, I mean, he's the man, is good. So, but I think it's going to be a tough time. Even though Justin Allgaier knows how to get the job done, he's been so close. I'm wanting to see with Justin Allgaier how he rebounds from the disappointment of last week at Bristol, because he really thought he should have had that race in his hand, did have everything in control. But he would certainly be one. But there's a number. I mean, Matt DiBenedetto is going to be in the 18 car. You got A.J. Allmendinger racing. But Justin Allgaier knows how to road race. I think that I've always been so intrigued, and I've talked to Justin about this, is where these road racing skills came from, because that wasn't really something he felt like when he came to drive stock cars that he had a lot of experience at, but he's done extremely well. And, he might very well be that person that steps up there. He needs a win, certainly, before he gets into the playoffs, just for his mental capacity and the confidence that he needs to go make a run in the playoffs. So, Justin may be that, but I go back to where I opened that up, that Austin Cindric is still the man right now. You're going to figure out a way to beat him.
Yeah, the guy sitting right here has won 2 in a row on road courses. The guy who was sitting right here about a half hour ago. And I think it's interesting that a few weeks ago they were asking who could be that guy outside the big 3 in Xfinity. And at that time we were talking about Allgaier, and now I think Austin Cindric is the guy a lot of people are talking about. Appreciate that phone call, AC. Let's wrap it up with Charlie on the phones. Charlie, Last call for NASCAR America Debrief. Make it a good one.
Okay, I just wanted to say what the My Track, My Roots thing is, because that's brought people to our track, and I raced the quarter midget track in Owasso and by Waterford, where Eric Jones raced when he was 12 and 13. So I think it's a great segment you guys have.
All right. Well, we appreciate that, Charlie. So some support for My Track, My Roots for Michigan.
Oh, that's awesome. And that's exactly why NBC wanted to get involved in this and get people back to, the grassroots racing side of this. You can't, everybody's not going to become an Xfinity and Cup fan just by going to those races to start with. You become a fan by going to these local short tracks and supporting that. And, this young man's trying to start his career, and he's seeing an uptick as far as the people coming by and being a part of it. So it's great to hear, and, we want to continue all of that.
I know the short tracks are near and dear to your heart from Bowman Gray days long ago.
Absolutely love them, and the more support we can get out there, the more you can develop. This is the developmental of racing. I mean, it's the only way to say it. Yeah. And if we don't have 100 or so healthy short tracks out there running, it dilutes the entire product.
Yeah, no question. So we really appreciate you being here today, David Hoots. And before you go, though, do you take requests? Because on YouTube, I've got Gary asking me if you can say 1 to go when you get here before you leave.
I'll be happy to help Gary out. Maybe 1 to go when you get here. Next time, bye.
All right, and with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for all your phone calls, your questions, your comments. We'll see you next time, NASCAR America Debrief.